Hi, my name's Phil Smith. I've been teaching rolling to many students over, I don't know, maybe 10 years. And I've just decided to put a little video together about how I teach rolling. This guy we taught in 15 minutes to get his first roll. Try and focus on some of the main problems people have and the main methods to fix those problems. The first thing we have to do is establish trust between the instructor and the student. We do this by gradually introducing them to being upside down in a kayak and getting them to feel comfortable in that situation. It is not uncommon for students to have little experience in holding their breath. Through these exercises, we can increase confidence in this requirement and to become more relaxed in what for many is an extremely stressful experience. It is essential that the student has complete confidence in the instructor's ability to rescue them, and the instructor has complete confidence that they can exit an upside down kayak safely. Here I'm going to tell you why I teach this roll. This is the roll which is the most robust, requiring the least technique. Sea kayakers are older than whitewater kayakers. They are often carrying injuries like bad shoulders, bad backs, etc. We don't want to aggravate those injuries, and we certainly don't want to add to them. We want a gentle roll that is the minimum amount of physical stress involved. I want rolling to be a boring, tedious task like changing a tyre, something that you can do when you're cold, wet and scared, something that you can do when you've got another 3 hours or 3 days to paddle. It should just be easy, effortless, boring, dull. Let's just do it. Oh gosh, I'm upside down. What a bugger. I guess I better roll. The water above the blade is useless. Let's keep that to a minimum. Let's use the longest lever arm we can. That greatly increases reliability. Let's get as close to 90 degrees as we can. This is easier if you move your hands closer together. And once that blade goes behind your back or starts going behind your back, it's becoming useless. So let's keep the useless parts out of the roll. 90 degrees is as good as it's going to get and as far away from you as you can. You may have noticed I'm using an unfeathered paddle. The two blades are in the same angle. To me, this is a fundamental thing for teaching someone to roll the first time. One, they get a very good grip on the end of the blade. If you look how he's holding the end of the blade, he's got a solid grip on there. He's not holding onto the edge of a paddle. And the other thing is, if he knows the angle of one blade, he knows the angle of the other. That makes life so much easier for them to learn because they can feel when it's in the right place. I think I would never start somebody on a feathered blade. I think you're just making life really hard for yourself.
Set up position with the elbow nice.
I'm a great believer in spending time out of the water, preferably in a chair like this where they can do all the movements. I can go through the movements with them. They know what they're expected to do. It's much easier doing this than it is on the water where they can't hear you. Here they can hear you. I usually drill them through this 5 or 10 times before I put them back in the pool, just so that they get some kind of muscle memory of what I expect from them, and they start to believe that they can do it.
All right, bend your elbow 90 degrees, elbow at 90, that's it, that's good. Push the blade down with your front arm, okay, yep. Okay, that's it, push it out. That's it, nice and flat, up and over your head. Straight.
Some people might be concerned about this arm being extended like this and putting stress on the shoulder. Usually by the time you get to this point, the roll is finished. This just finishes off that last little bit that stops you rolling back, just cements the roll in place. And it's mainly there also to stop the hand moving forward and rotating around the elbow, which changes the blade angle to change and pushes the paddle behind your back. I've come to realise that this half roll is a very important step. It allows communication between the instructor and student. I can see what the student is doing, and so can the student. Being able to give feedback during the sweep step is really handy. This is the crux of the roll. It's that lever action of really just pushing one arm up and pulling the other one down, keeping your elbows tucked in and stopping that blade from disappearing behind the body, keeping the blade flat on the surface. It's just levers. That's all it is. It's very simple. And doing this exercise, which I have done many times, it helps them get that confidence that it's going to work, and it helps to break bad habits that they pick up. So I often go back to this so that they can reacquaint themselves with the actual objective, which is to get into position where you can do this. If you do this maneuver, you will roll. This is a common problem caused by people starting to sweep before they've capsized. It's easily fixed by just getting to tap the front of the boat once or twice before they start the sweep stroke. And you see here, it works fine every time. Head position is one of the crucial things in learning to roll. Your instinct is to get your mouth or your nose out of the water as quickly as possible in order to breathe. We have to work against our instincts, and one of the training methods to do this is to do this exercise where they train themselves, or you train them, to get their nose out the water last. This helps them to look down the blade, get the curvature of the spine correct, and makes the roll a lot easier. Okay, using the edge of the pool is good for teaching them head position, but also how to do a hip flick, which is simply just using your right knee to pull the boat in under your body. It's really important to slow the roll down. Slowing the roll down builds up confidence, increases technique. It's much easier to diagnose what's going on, what someone's done wrong. So doing a nice slow roll is far more impressive to me than doing something in a fraction of a second. If you do it in a fraction of a second, I don't know what happened. If it doesn't work, I don't know why it didn't work.
Setting up. Cool. No fart, sweep right out, and perfect.
Okay, a common problem is for the left hand or the top hand to drift forward. This does two bad things. One, it sweeps the blade round behind your back where it's doing nothing. The other thing it does is it rotates the blade, the actual physical blade, through 90 degrees. So it's now pointing up and down the water and doing nothing. So a big part of teaching this roll is fixing that problem so that the blade the blade shaft stays at 90 degrees to the hull at all times, and the blade surface, the scoop of the blade, is flat to the water at all times. It's a difficult thing to get through, to do all these things at once. Head position, blade position, all these things. But we break it down into bits and bits and practice drills. And that's just what it takes.
You're fine. That's it. That's it. And stay like that. Don't let this arm come forward, okay? Yeah, don't do that. Because the blade goes behind you, it doesn't do anything. All right. Let's have a look. See if he remembers it. Sit up. Hold the blade properly. That's good. See if he does it. Okay, go. Good. Blade went behind you again. Okay. Don't forget to have a break if you're getting tired.
Yeah, I think maybe stay under a few seconds.
Fatigue is something you have to always look out for. Students get tired pretty quickly. This is quite stressful. It's quite physical. And once they start getting tired, they start going backwards. They start forgetting. Things turn to crap very quickly. The best thing I've found to do after many years is just stop and have a break. Send them for a paddle around the pool, just relax, teach somebody else, give them 5 or 10 minutes just to get their breath back. It'll save you an awful lot of frustration. In this roll, look at the position of his head, how it's facing, and the curvature of his spine. And you can just see how it's so much harder if your head's clubbing first.
Okay, you nearly have another go. Make sure your nose position is good. All right, off you go. Watch the nose, watch his head position. Your head.
You will hear me saying the same things again and again and again in this video in terms of dropping the hands, head position, bloody blah. After a while, you suddenly get sick of saying it and they get sick of hearing it. So the best thing is to find a drill that fixes the problem. Talking stops working really quickly and it just becomes counterproductive. So have a break, find a drill, try and find a drill that will fix the problem. Stop talking. It's not working.
Climbing. Okay, do it again. Watch his head. That's so much better. You feel the difference?
Giving positive
So much
reinforcement
easier.
is just so important. It does two things. One, it's obviously
Try it
encouragement,
again.
but also you're trying to get them to know what a good
sit
roll
up.
feels like, and you know halfway through the roll that you've done it wrong, and when they can feel that difference, then they will take their time to set up properly. There are no shortcuts
Okay,
in this
here we
roll.
go.
You just have to do all the steps, and you have to know when it feels right. Okay, let's have a look at this roll in slow-mo and see if we can find some things that need work on. Look at that paddle angle. What do you think it's going to do when he hits the water? So you can see the blade's got a negative angle of attack, and as he swings it round it starts to dive and his left arm comes out the water too soon. That elbow needs to stay bent for longer. Not every sea kayaker understands how lift works. This simple exercise enables you to show them how changing the angle of attack of the blade can be useful to lift the blade back to the surface or to take it down. It's just a good exercise to get that understanding. Because we're using a flat paddle, the angle of attack of the blade in the left hand is the same as the angle of attack of the right hand blade. See the left arm drop forward here, which pushes the paddle behind him, which is doing nothing. And it's also rotating the blade so it's vertically up and down, so it's actually doing nothing in the water. This takes a lot of work, but we do get there. You're better to end up with a high brace, and that way you're stable in the water come what may. Here we see an example of a pretty bad roll that still works. You see his head position's all wrong, and paddle goes forward at the end, but it's a roll. And despite my best attempts, I could not fix this guy.
Here we go.
Here's a pretty shaky roll, but it's good enough.
That's better. So see how
This is a
slowly
really
you can
nice roll. It's taken quite a long time to get here from the first
Nice,
roll,
slow.
but it's nice and slow, it's nice and deliberate, nice and
Beautiful. We
safe.
can see if we can do it properly. Keep that left arm tucked in. That's good. Better.
One of the things I like to teach is the paddle float,
Keep doing his paddle float roll up.
re-entry and roll up. We can move from this to doing it up the paddle float. It's a very useful tool to build up one's underwater endurance, relaxation, confidence. Okay, that's probably enough from me. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and looking forward to your feedback, and we'll see you on the water. Have a good one. Bye.